What's going on, Patronijects? It's Greg Alba here.
And it's John over here.
So we're going to do movie news of the week today. The top stories of the week. Only got 4 here that actually caught my interest. Yeah, there's not really much this week, to be honest. None of these are that too exciting.
And man, you gotta have a slow week every once in a while.
Slow week every once in a while. You know, E3's coming out, so
yeah.
Probably don't want to unveil too much movie news.
Yeah, with all those video games swooping in.
Oh yeah,
taking the thunder away.
My passion, right there.
Yeah.
Can't wait for all those trailer requests to come in for that one.
Catch us on Twitch.
All right, so let's just hop right into this. Suicide Squad 2. I bet you guys didn't expect this news to come out of the gate.
Boy.
You know, DCU has a lot of films slated, not many release dates for many of them. But here we go. Joel Kinnaman, the main star of Suicide Squad 2. The one that everyone remembers. I bet even if you don't know the comics or you've seen the movie, you at least know his name.
No, Joel Kinnaman.
I know his character's name.
Rick Flag.
Rick Flag, yep, that's the one. He's a standout performance, he says,
Pretty good.
in some interview. As far as I know, they're writing the script, and I think the plan is to shoot it sometime in 2018. But that could change. I think I'll definitely come back for it. Ultimately, I'd love for David Ayer to direct it, but if he doesn't want to direct it, then someone who is great with character, that's able to ground the story, and maybe put these characters in a more normal situation, pretty much saying whatever David Ayer said. It'd be really interesting to see these crazy characters interact with regular people as well. Boy, wouldn't that have been a great idea for Suicide Squad 1?
Yeah, learn from our mistakes. Why don't we? Hey, I don't know, maybe that's inspiring information, though, because it's June now. They'll at least have 6 months to work on this script.
Yeah, as opposed to 6 weeks, so they got plenty of time to get this script in development. Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the potentials for Suicide Squad 2 on this channel and the many different ways you could do it. The main thing is what he's saying right here. Just make it a more normal situation.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have to save the world. They don't need to do that. Just make it a more normal situation. And I don't know, I'm not really excited that Joel Kinnaman's talking about this.
Yeah,
who gave a shit about your character in this movie?
I'm not particularly excited either. I don't know, I feel like the one kind of nice-ish thing that we've learned from DC is, you know, these ships can correct their courses. So while I'm not overly optimistic for a Suicide Squad 2, I'm not champing at the bit to get these characters back in a room together. I'm like, they could fix it, and I like that they're at least planning to go ahead instead of doing the Spider-Man thing and just restarting the game every time you fall off that skateboard.
They made to reboot it. They made like so much freaking money.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they're not gonna do that.
As long as it makes bank, you got a sequel in mind.
Yeah.
It's just how studios work. If it makes money, that's what they care about. Real quick. Oh yeah, Mike, just making sure the mic was on. Are you moving forward to the next story?
Oh, do we got more to talk about Suicide Squad 2?
Yeah, because I'm wondering, you know, with a lot of times when one movie works, like Wonder Woman really worked. Wonder Woman really worked. So if Wonder Woman worked, that means there's someone at the studio, there's at least one person in there going, we got to do all of our future installments now.
Just like that.
Just like Wonder Woman. And they're going to ruin it.
We're going to take the Suicide Squad back to World War I.
Yeah. They're going to do something. There's someone there who's going to say that. Someone there. But, I mean, what I like of the idea of Suicide Squad, too, because I mean, when you see like the Marvel franchise going, it's like we see we saw Guardians 2 this year. We saw the trailers for Thor Ragnarok and Black Panther, and there's something that seems kind of similar about the way all of them are. And I don't feel like you need to do that with the DCEU. I don't feel like it needs to fall under that category, especially with Suicide Squad. Out of all, I mean, if you start doing that with all your heroes in your solo films, maybe I could get more on board with that. However, when it comes to Suicide Squad, no, just make it different. I mean, that's one thing you got to give credit to for the first one. It's different.
Yeah,
definitely. It's weird.
That's part of the charm, and I think especially for DC, it would help them all the more to differentiate themselves. Have this franchise that's free to be. The point of Suicide Squad is to be edgy.
Yeah, because if they want to shoot this in 2018, what I'm saying is, whoever that one person is saying we got to make it like Wonder Woman, I don't think you got to do that. You can still make it a good movie and make it different than Wonder Woman.
Suicide Squad 2 is all about love.
Yeah, it's all about heroism.
Yeah, compassion. People really struggling. Like, man, we're just fighting for the people, right?
Hey,
hey.
Let's move on to the next story.
Speaking of sequels, my darling, guess what? The Dark Universe. They got a whole bunch of them planned.
Yeah, I love when they throw a franchise in my face.
I love when they get off to a shaky start and they're like, we're not stopping there. We got 5 more of these up our sleeves.
Yeah, Alex Kurtzman, here's what he says, speaking of fandom. We know we're going to do Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Phantom of the Opera, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and The Invisible Man.
Wow!
And I hope Russell Crowe is in all of them.
All of them take place at Prodigium.
Yeah, let's hope that stays consistent, because that was the best thing about it. We just put up our review for The Mummy, non-spoiler and spoiler review. You can catch our thoughts on that. Oh boy, it's a lot of movies. It's a lot of worry.
We addressed this in the review for the new film The Mummy, out in theaters now, and I don't think this machine cannot be corrected in any way. You know, like I said, we were talking about Suicide Squad just now. I believe that you can take feedback and make some positive changes.
Totally.
However, I really wish these people could focus on one movie at a time.
Well, Chris Morgan is one of the main people guiding the guiding forces are Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan. And Chris Morgan, well, he did the 4th Fast and Furious. He's done all the other Fast and Furiouses, and he helped. He was greatly involved in course correction for the Fast and Furious franchise.
Okay.
You know, I'm not sure if he's still the right guy to be doing.
I don't think the course correcting for that series will work for this series, but sure, if he's good at that. Who
knows? Maybe it will.
I'm not gonna say that's that guy's only capable idea.
Yeah, I mean, my work. Who knows? I just hope that Alex Kurtzman and I'm sure they have a lot of plans already. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they got a lot of notes written down of what they want to do, because they already started casting people for all these roles. I just really hope that they go, maybe we should slow down a little bit and maybe, like rethink how we did The Mummy, because now you added more than what was announced.
Yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was hinted at in The Mummy.
In the movie, yeah.
And that's a neat hint, because one humps.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
When, in spoiler alert, for The Mummy, for your Black Lagoon tease, when they're walking through, what's it called? Vagina?
Vagina.
Yeah, they're walking through S.H.I.E.L.D., and you see the Lagoon hand.
Yeah.
And then everyone being you and me, shouting in the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah.
Why are we the only people excited to see that monster?
Yeah. But it was already in like a specimen jar.
Severed, in fact.
Right.
As though the creature is...
So if they do a Creature from the Black Lagoon, it might be a film that takes place before present day, which could be cool.
Or he'll have a hook hand.
It's about him trying to retrieve his hand.
He's got to need my hand.
Movie.
That magic hand is the source of all my powers.
And they got other characters here. Phantom, Hunchback, who are not part of the OG Monsterverse, right? The OG Monsterverse is Frank, Wolf, Drek.
I mean...
And missing someone. Bride. Invisible Man.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the originals are sort of like, Frankenstein and the Mummy and the Wolfman. And then you branch out and you've got the Creature and the Mummy. And Or what did I say? Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Phantom and Hunchback are monsters, but they're not part of the OG.
I mean, they are. They made those movies. They made like
an
old school with Lon Chaney.
I'm talking about like the original crossovers. I could.
Oh yeah. They're all Universal monster movies. I don't know if they ever crossed over with anybody.
Yeah.
If they ever...
Well, you should have just called this the Universal Monsters. You don't need to call it the Dark Universe. Because especially if you're not honoring dark and this whole thingamajig you got going on here.
See, I'm conflicted about calling, because like now I'm kind of cool that they didn't call it the Universal Monsters, because what I saw yesterday wasn't really a Universal Monster movie, at least completely.
Yeah, fair.
So sure, that looks like the Dark Universe, I guess, but
I just think these would be cooler period piece films instead of modern day films.
Definitely.
It's like if you do a modern day Hunchback of Notre Dame, what the hell is that gonna be?
What? Yeah. Or a modern day Phantom.
What
Seems like it would be tricky.
They would just piss off friends. Like, we don't treat hunchbacks like that in Friends today.
Yeah, this would be a major issue pretty fast. Like, this guy just gonna live in the top of a bell tower too. Like, you know, nobody notices. Like nowadays,
security cameras inside that church
in a modern world.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Let's just hope that they make some course correction immediately. Because boy, do they need it. Because, you know, like when you look at other franchises, that's universes that have been launched officially, you know, Godzilla was great. He did what Gareth Evans? Mm-hmm. He did what Alex Kurtzman said he was going to do. Edwards, right. Evans is right.
Yeah.
He did what Alex Kurtzman said he would do for The Mummy. And he made a great solo film that had no concern with universe building. That was cool. And then DCEU launched it with Man of Steel. And while it wasn't the greatest thing on the planet, it was still good enough to be like, yeah, I'm on board.
I'll watch another.
I'll watch more DC films. Yeah. I'm totally here for that.
It's kind of a different take.
This is the first franchise universe launch where I'm like, very worried.
Guys.
Very worried. I don't know how much more of these I can handle if they're all going to be like this. Yeah.
You do understand that these are like your flagship classics, right?
Yeah.
Like, you do understand the implications of that. Like, yeah, I kind of pretty much agree with everything you just said. Like, I don't really see what bringing these things to modern day, where we've got computers and cell phones and crazy advanced guns and things. Like, I don't see it.
I think the Hunchback should be all CGI, and like he should be a giant with an exceptionally big hunchback.
Just remake King Kong, but with a hunchback.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Instead of the Empire State Building, it's just a church tower. Perfect.
And you know, Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. He's Johnny Depp. You're gonna want to see him. You can't just hear him. So I hope that most of the film he is Visible Man and not Invisible, because marketing matters.
That's the thing,
and,
man.
I hope Bride of Frankenstein is Angelina Jolie and that she's sexy and not scary.
Yeah, sexy, independent, powerful.
Yeah,
you know.
And I hope Dracula's a strong, hard PG-13 vampire flick.
Just like this is the weirdest universe I've had to comprehend in a long time, because especially in the lead up to The Mummy, they have thrown out so many different concepts and so many different ideas and so many different takes. Like, so many different versions of their own take on what this is supposed to be. So yeah, like, I'm just kind of clenching right now reading this information, thinking it could work, but I just feel like it's a very tall order.
I mean, I'd love to see this. Like, reading this quote, I'd love to see all those monsters, just not what I'm seeing now.
Yeah. Guys, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are reteaming once again for an educational scandal film. Wrong answer.
Wrong delivery there, John. You kept flimsying up the words there.
I was tongue-tied like a mom.
Hey, here's what Collider.com's article says. The true life tale tells of Damani Lewis. That is Michael Jordan, basketball player, a Parks Middle School math teacher who found himself a part of the scandal regarding standardized tests under the No Child Left Behind program.
Uh-oh.
Now, John.
Yes.
A program that was originally designed to boost test scores in American schools.
Yes.
Board. However, Lewis's students were severely underprivileged, and their declining test scores threatened to close the school itself.
Damn.
Already a teacher, as well as a football, soccer, and softball coach and a chess club founder, Lewis opted to try to cheat those test scores upward, becoming part of U.S. history's largest academic cheating scandal ever. 11 teachers were ultimately convicted of racketeering.
Damn.
First off, I'm excited that Michael B. Jordan is the only actor Ryan Coogler works with. And,
keep it going.
Keep it going, man. You had a great thing going. You're like the black versions of
Johnny Depp and
Tim Burton, De Niro and Scorsese, or DiCaprio and Scorsese. Yeah. You know, that's great. That's fantastic. And another thing that's cool about this, I mean, the story sounds interesting. It does sound really intriguing, actually. I think it's really smart on their end because their films have been getting bigger and bigger since Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
Because Fruitvale Station, hardcore indie drama.
Yeah.
And then Creed, which is like reasonable studio film. It's a Rocky movie. You know?
Yeah. It's probably too expensive, but it is part of something larger.
And yeah, he showed he could do a studio film that's that make a different direction, artistic, and then Black Panther. Will determine whether the world loves him or not. Yeah, because if people hate that movie, fuck this guy, Mark Webb, Sam Raimi. That's what's gonna happen if that movie's bad.
Careful shoving your fingers in that machine, buddy.
So you got that one, but then it's smart that his next film right after Black Panther is this like
educational drama,
small drama film. With Michael B. Jordan, so...
Oh no, this is $600 million budget.
This is going to be their most expensive film today. Yeah. And so I think it's really smart on their end, because I think it's important, especially when you're a guy who comes from smaller films, to, take time to, like, step back and do one of your smaller projects, as opposed to tiring yourself out, doing your Iron Man 2 and Cowboys and Aliens. Okay, maybe I'll do my Chef.
Maybe when I'm so burnt out that I hate everything, I'll do a passion.
Yeah, maybe after my Age of Ultron, I'll do my little Shakespeare movie.
Maybe after I get my soul crushed.
Yeah, because I think Doug Liman's doing a great job on his balance, because he keeps like dishing out these like smaller films where you're like, I didn't even know Doug Liman was working on this. So it's smart that his next film, because Black Panther, all the press junkets are gonna be doing, all the posts they're doing on the film right now. I think he's very smart to be like, I'm gonna need to slow down after this project and do something that's a lot more in my control and a lot more of the filmmaking style I'm more accustomed to. Yeah, and in terms of an actor too, from Michael B. Jordan's stance, like this kind of role requires, I'm imagining, a lot more acting, because he's not even the main star. He's not even Black Panther in Black Panther. He's the villain, so he won't even be the primary focus of that movie. So this is really cool. This is really neat.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a story that I don't know a heck ton about, and it's something that is definitely a big, relevant issue in our society, not only for like underprivileged students, but also just the No Child Left Behind thing in general.
Oh, I was part of that. I was part of the No Child Left Behind program.
Did you didn't get left behind?
I did, and being a struggling African American in this country,
you've overcome a lot. Yeah, you look totally different now.
Man, that's what I mean. I had to overcome a lot to adjust, and this is part of the scam.
This is really working. I couldn't even tell.
How many?
You're like a totally different person now.
I'm not happy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it could be. I definitely am excited, like you said, to see him return to something like this, and I feel like that's a smart thing for any director to do to keep their soul alive. And also, the educational system in America could use some help. And
perhaps
this article mentions some other stuff, like The Big Short and movies like that. And I feel like, hey, I don't know. This says they're also, at least the article that part of this is based on, is painting the main character here in a positive light, which is interesting.
Oh, dude,
seems like a complex issue.
They shouldn't call this wrong answer. They should call it American Teacher.
American Teacher. It's perfect.
It's the perfect title for this movie.
It is. Because this guy probably just wanted to help the kids, man, out of a bad sitch.
We made a point a while ago that a lot of movies that have the word American at the beginning of their movie title, not the American, but like American something. Usually it's about like the corruption, the debauchery of the American dream.
Dark ruminations on what the American
dream is. And before we saw The Mummy,
now.
we saw two trailers. American Made and American Assassin. I'm like, yep, it's bad to be American.
Yeah, it's a complex issue, right?
Change your title to American. As a matter of fact, they changed their title. I would have been like, oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, American Teacher.
American Teacher. It works. It works.
Get a sad, slow cover for the trailer of the Pink Floyd song about education. There you go.
Next story.
All right, this last story is very near and dear to my heart. And, it's about one of my favorite current filmmakers, Mr.
Neill likes Chappie.
Neill? Chappie likes... Neill. Neill likes... Oh, you just take it. Take it, man. You're good. You're busting me up today. This is a slow news week means off the cuff.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to read all this shit. I mean, I guess you kind of have to do it so people get the... Okay, here's the bottom line of all this stuff that Neill Blomkamp was talking about in this interview.
Yeah.
He did this movie a few years ago. You might have heard of it. It's called Chappie. And what was interesting about this article is he places no blame on the failure of that movie, box office, critic, or audience reception. The most fascinating part of this whole article, and I said this to John, no, it's rare when I like read an article and I'm like, John, you gotta read this. And I said this to him, because I remember when this movie came out, and if you go to our review of it, we liked the movie.
Yeah.
When no one else did. We stood by the movie like, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's weird, but I understand why for the most part.
And what was fascinating about it was Neill Blomkamp was saying, like, he really made the movie he set out to do. What he had, he's saying stuff like, what I had in my imagination is what you see on screen. And I was able to execute the film, and I really loved it. And it was kind of a heartbreaking article to read because he's talking about how he made what he loved and made what he wanted to do, and just it didn't pan out well for most people, you know.
And on top of that, he goes on to say he's really, I appreciate how candid he is in interviews, because I've heard him talk this way more than a few times, and he says, you know, like, Elysium? Yeah, I don't think I did a terrific job on that movie. That movie could have been better, like, I get it. And that movie is better reviewed, better received than Chappie, and so, like, I really feel for him, because he puts it right out there. He says, like, I thought I got it. Like,
well, this is like his Ed Wood experience.
Yeah,
he's talking about here, where it's like, because that movie Ed Wood is scary for aspiring filmmakers, or just any filmmaker.
It's what any artist or anybody making things is afraid of.
Because a lot of times when a movie fails, what do you hear people do? They blame the studio. That's like the #1 thing a director does. They blame the studio.
Yeah.
And Neill Blomkamp was, you know, I've always felt like Chappie's the kind of film that could be appreciated down the road.
Down the road, yeah.
Because I loved it. I mean, we were talking about it the other day. I described it as like a violent family film.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's weird, and it's like an AI movie learning about life, like a Pinocchio story with gangsters. You know?
Yeah, if you look at all the story elements, it's like you have a child who falls into the hands of what happens to be these two people, and then you've got, you know, these arms, you know, developers trying to deal with, and they're all kind of trying to converge in the same place, and like it is a weird bunch of people, and of course the story on top of that I feel like is gonna be weird. And he sort of said that. He's like, you know, what a lot of people think or perceived as a wild, you know, a completely all over the place tone is sort of just like, I thought this was an absurd idea and I wanted to translate that. And when I was watching it, at least looking at all those plot points, minus a couple, you know, things, it made sense to me. Like, I thought the tone, what he tried to get across worked for me. I was like, yeah, I get why the tone is weird. It feels like Short Circuit meets RoboCop, like you said it would, you know? Yeah, and there's a lot of touching stuff to me.
It makes me wonder how he's going to approach his future, because I know he's got the Oat Studio films coming out, the short films, which I have no concern about, like, of how he's going to do it. It makes me wonder how he's going to approach his future feature-length projects, though.
Yeah.
Because
he said, like, this, in this interview even, he said, like, this put my career in an odd place and it probably hurt certain parts of it, and I'm curious as to what his next opportunity could be. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, for a guy who was able to make the movie he set out to make, and then I can imagine how that could be kind of a mental fuckery for a guy to be like, all right, I finished editing the movie. I like it. Will other people like this movie? Because that's not what happened with my last movie.
Yeah. What if my judgment is off?
I think it's good. You know. And so I'm hoping he can still proceed with confidence and reassurance in his own and faith in his own vision, as opposed to trying to make what people will like. Because that is a weird crossroads to be at, and it gets me. He's kind of become an underdog again. And, I mean, I don't know about again, because he didn't start off an underdog, but he's sort of become an underdog in terms of the feature film world, because it's making me wonder, like, how's he going to approach his film now?
Yeah, it makes, I'm definitely concerned
for
by
Neill
that.
Blomkamp.
Yeah, because this is a guy who I do like, and I respect what he does as a filmmaker, even if there are things about Elysium that could be better, even if there are things about Chappie that could be a bit better, like, I always felt bad for the amount of panning that movie got. Because I'm like, in the time that we live in, this movie goes for it. Yeah. It has a very distinct idea and it tried something broad. Yeah. And whether or not that works, I don't know. I always feel weird when people are like, oh, fuck that guy. Like, District 9, clearly a fluke. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I definitely think that could lead to something interesting, because I don't think he's the type of filmmaker who would just roll over and be like, I'm just going to try and approximate what people like. And he's admitted also in other interviews I've seen that like certain parts of the scripting of the directing process aren't his favorite or aren't his strongest suits. Like he thinks like he's better at developing these concepts and coming up with designs maybe than actual script writing. So I don't know, maybe this will encourage him to collaborate in a different way. But I hope it doesn't hurt his career, because especially the Oates stuff looks really cool. And his Alien ideas seem like the only thing people were really excited about. Like, even with Alien Covenant being okay, like, it seems like more often than not I come across people who are trying to be excited about it than actually are.
Alien Covenant, it seems to be an audience and box office failure at this point.
Yeah. Because it's not special enough.
It hasn't even made its money back domestically.
Yeah, and
it's been out for weeks.
And I feel like that, in a way, is kind of a nice thing for him, because that was the one thing. It's like, even despite how people feel about Chappie, people were still like, no, his idea sounds cool. The concept art looks cool. Like, Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn are on board. They're going to try and fix some things. And then, Ridley Scott's got to do his thing.
Let him do it.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, like we've said before, it's like I'm not even that heartbroken that we're not going to retread Alien. But yeah, I mean, it always warms my heart in an odd way when filmmakers are candid like this and just take responsibility. And so I think that's a good thing for him moving forward, because that makes me less concerned about his ability to keep going, like, or his ability to figure out how to, keep his filmmaking career alive and keep his art alive, and he's a voice that I'm always interested to hear from, Chappie likes to paint.
All right, Patrona Jex, thanks for tuning in today for our movie news of the week, a weekly segment exclusive for you beautiful sons of bastards on Patreon.
Busted son!
Yeah, you're all bastards. All of you. Even the ones who have married parents when you were born.
Glorious bastards.
See you next week.